20th century history of the early bass guitar, and known to exist is this one, and it's a 1936 Audio Vox 736 bass guitar. This was Paul Tutmark's personal bass, and I got it from his grandson, and so this is the very first one of the 736s. So it's a historic piece, and this is a 236 amplifier that he had made. He also had a bigger one made, 936, which I don't have. But so anyway, the Audio Vox company had a son. Paul had a son named Bud, and Bud designed his own electric bass in 1947. So this is a 1947 electric bass. It's called a Bud's Electro Serenader, and this is the amplifier that goes with it. And I did get this from his son, so in Seattle. That's where they made. Along comes Leo Fender, and in 1951, he built a 51 Fender Precision. This particular one is the very first 51 Fender Precision that ever left the factory. It's been in Vintage Guitar magazine, and they mistakenly called it the third bass ever made, but it is the first. And it was sold with a pro amplifier, because they didn't have bass amps at that time. This one here is also a 51P bass. It's an late October bass. That one was made in September, like September 18th. This one is October 31st. It's serial number 36, which means nothing because they were randomly used. And this is a Fender Bassman, which was made in early 52. It's the first year. So in 1951, this is what existed. In 1952, Kay came out with a bass. They call it the Howling Wolf bass. It's a K162, and this is a 52 K162. There's several amplifiers, one of which there's only two in existence. I don't own that one. This is a K515 bass amp to go with it. It's about a 54. Then in 1953, Gibson made the EB. This is a 53 EB, and it's their entry into the bass field. And behind this monster is well, I think I'll move it. That is the amplifier that goes with the EB. It's a 90, a GA 90. So that's the first, up to 53. That's all the basses that existed. In 54, they started making all kinds of different things, and so I kind of stopped collecting them. This is a 1912 Gibson Mando bass. I think it's and it came from the Chicago Mandolin Orchestra, and I have a picture of the man that bought it new, and I bought it from his grandson. So I'm gonna put this one away. This is a fretted non-electric. This is a I can't remember the names. 1937 Regal, and I can't remember the name of it at the moment, but it's the next version, and it's not fretted. It's just got lines on it. And this is a 1890s Czech flatback carved bass. And so this is basically the bass guitar and the acoustic versions. Then they started making electric uprights. This is not a Rickenbacker. I wish I had a Rickenbacker, but I got this out of Norway. It was made in the early 40s, and it was made by a group of brothers that made a handful of them, and it looks just like Rickenbacker. It actually plays quite well. This is one of my favorites. And then this is a Hernsdorf, made in Germany, and there's only four known. And this was used by a well-known bass player over in Germany, and I talked him out of it not too long ago. I had him bought it from him. This is a Framus, a 50s Framus, and I think they're pretty common. And that is not an Ampeg baby bass, that's a Zorko. That's from the Dobo brothers, and they made it first, and it's basically the prototype for the Ampeg baby bass. And when they got through playing with it, they sold all the molds and stuff to Ampeg. So that's the early collection. So.